In a lot of ways, some of the struggles that we've seen across the property space in particular, productivity, efficiency, labour, some of the bottlenecks, are broad-based, some of the challenges faced by Australian businesses. With this sort of strong mandate that we see now in the election result, what are the policy priorities for you?
Well, hi, Heidi. Great to be with you. Look, I think from a business point of view, clearly the government has been returned. They're in a strong position within the parliament. They won't have a majority in the Senate, so that's going to be one of the sort of practical realities that's going to have to be dealt with. But business is looking now for an ambitious agenda. We've got significant challenges, imperatives if we want to boost productivity, which has been lagging in Australia now for a number of years. It's been going backwards in the past 12 months. So, that's got to be right at the top of the agenda. We have to have a strategy to grow the pie. So I think that's something that business is really looking for. Obviously, the global economic and geopolitical situation, that is also something that's a very high priority for Australia. An open economy reliant on its trading position. Not so much the direct impact that we've seen of tariff measures that have been proposed out of the US, but the risk of confrontation between the major economies, the US, China, tensions across the Atlantic and so on. All of those things are very important to us. So I think business working with government to position Australia to be in the best position, to cope with those challenges. Those are going to be right at the front of the dialogue between business and government in the coming weeks and months.
That uncertainty could still continue, right, regardless of what a sort of position of strength Australian negotiators come from. I do wonder, what sort of impact are you seeing amongst your members already in terms of the impact on sentiment, on confidence, on the willingness to make investment decisions?
Oh, look, there's undoubtedly some level of uncertainty there, given the, the gyrations that we've seen in policy coming out of the United States. I think from our point of view, we've had strong engagement with the government, even during the election period. We've had close contact, with the embassy in Washington, and they've been working overtime. So, look, I think from that point of view, business can be confident that the government are fully engaged on this issue. I think they will bring forward a number of proposals in the coming weeks and months, and business can work closely with them on that. But it is a challenge, and there are some risks there that need to be addressed. But I think beyond that, as they get down to business now in the new term, we are looking for them to take forward probably a more ambitious agenda than we've seen simply articulated during the election campaign. That was focused very much on domestic issues, cost of living issues, housing affordability issues, healthcare issues, and so on. The reform agenda, how we boost productivity, how we grow the pie, and the priorities for that, that's something I think business really wants to see some action on in the next 3 years.
In order to get there, what sort of tax or regulatory changes do you expect, and what would you like to see?
Well, I think that the first thing in that regard, fiscal discipline. There's been a lot of talk about, expenditures, what the net fiscal impact will be. There is a little bit of uncertainty on that from here. We saw during the recent weeks the downgrade in the economic outlook from the IMF. We've seen some chat in terms of the rating agencies and our global credit rating. So those issues are material issues, and I think business will be wanting to ensure that any risks in that space are worked to the minimum level. So I think the government's fiscal position will be something that it will need to be very disciplined on moving forward. If we want to have any hope of being able to undertake tax reform, reducing the tax burden in the next 3 years, that's something that we need to have a debate on. We need to have consideration on. It's something that hasn't really happened in Australia for nearly a quarter of a century. So, business is keen to get that debate going. It's not so clear how easy that will be in the political realm. but that is certainly something that needs to be grappled with as soon as possible.
Especially at a time when most countries are distracted by all of these ongoing trade challenges in the negotiations with the U.S., right? How important is it for your members, for Australia, to be able to diversify its trade relationships?
Oh, look, that is important, and I think that's part of the strategy. Of course, in the past 5 or 6 years, we've had trade measures in place from China. That's our number one trading partner. We have seen those progressively removed over the past couple of years. That's been a positive thing, but I think Australian business, Australian exporters learnt from that experience that we can't put all our eggs in one basket. There has been a strong focus on opening up new trade deals in the past couple of years. India has been a key area of focus. The Middle East. So that's also being an area of focus. The United Kingdom, we've done an FTA with in the past couple of years, and now there's talk again that potentially negotiations with the EU could be put back into place. So I think that would be encouraging. If we're going to have those sorts of agreements, then they need to be substantive agreements. We need to address the substantive blockages. They can't be, an agreement in name only. They've got to deliver real benefits. But I think business fully, sees the value in expanding those horizons, looking at the markets that we can grow more strongly. And diversifying, where our trade is going to currently.
Andrew, really great to have you with us. Andrew McKellar, CEO at the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have more on Australia ahead every Tuesday at 11:40 a.m. if you're watching here in Sydney, 8:40 a.m. in Hong Kong. Plus, you can tune into the Bloomberg Australia podcast too, which delves into the biggest stories shaping the country's role in global business. You can find that on Apple, Spotify or Bloomberg.com.